Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of When Artists Speak. Now, I know y'all think y'all know me and you think that I got another bass artist here today, but nope. When Artists Speaks is a bag of surprises. And today, I'm so excited to have my friend, my sister in art, and my sister in love, the
Yes.
poet. I'm not gonna tell y'all her government name because I want y'all to get to know his poet. Okay, all right. That is who we are here to talk to today. I want y'all to get to know her. I'm going to give her an opportunity to tell you a little bit about herself, and so I'm going to turn it over to you, his poet. How you doing? How you doing? Thank
All
you so much for
right.
being
You're welcome, sis. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here, y'all. My name is His Poet, and I am from Beaumont, Texas. I'm a Texas girl, but I've lived in a few other places, but been back in Texas for about a year and a half now, and you know, grateful for all that God has done. I am his poet. I'm a spoken word artist and author, motivator. I love people. I love to help people. Point people in the right direction, help people to be their best selves, basically. I also sell jewelry. I like little kind of weird jewelry, kind of, eclectic jewelry, all types. I have been trying to, I've been working, like I have a regular job too. So those things kind of get in the way sometimes. But I've been working, my regular job. So just trying to get everything back situated and where I need it to be as far as jewelry. I have so much jewelry that I have to really get together and do inventory. But other than that, everything is good. And yeah, my sister Stacy, we've been acquainted for a while now, a few years now, and I'm just grateful to have her as my sister, and I'm grateful to be on the show. And I am 46 years old, and I am a grandmother, and I'm a mother of three, and I have eight grandchildren and one on the way.
Come on, you better talk about it.
Yes. And I am that grandmother that spoils and loves on them. And yeah, yeah,
Ain't
that's
nothing
me.
wrong with that. Ain't
And
nothing. I love it. I
I
love
love
it.
God. I love the Lord. I do. I am in love with God. I am
I
in love
love
with
it.
Him. Yes, we have a relationship.
Okay, so see, so for all of
Okay.
y'all that be in my inbox, yeah, we 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 love him
We love Him
over
for
him,
real.
over him.
Yes.
The big G, not the little
The
G.
big G
Just so
for
y'all can
real.
be clear, we understand what it is. Yes,
Yes.
yes. I absolutely love the fact that you have your children, your grandchildren. For everybody to be hollering about 40-0, argue with the back of your head because we out
Okay.
here looking young and uncracked.
We
You
are
know,
an uncracked, okay?
okay. So 'cause that whole little debate now, I hate these little, if you was born in the 70s, baby, look, we out here looking better than don't do it. Don't do it. You out here 14 looking 45. Don't do it.
Looking for
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? We don't want that. But no, I am
at all.
I am so glad to have you here. One thing that I do love
Thank you,
about this
sis.
platform since establishing it earlier this year is just meeting artists that are multifaceted. And I really
Yes.
wanted to tap into being a spoken word artist myself. I just really wanted to use When Artist Speaks to, show the little corner of the world that I have some visibility into, how artistry is just such a broad spectrum. And,
Yes, it is.
as you mentioned, you are a spoken word artist, you are a published author, you make your jewelry and you have other things that you do. You do public speaking and you do all types of engagements. And I guess the goal is for the audience that takes the time out to invest the currency of listening to this podcast. I just want them to know that, first of all, because you yourself are a work of art, you can create, and it isn't
Yes.
always limited to like now. we were doing a little pre-show conversation, and we were talking about influence. And so in this world we live in today, everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to show the life that they live. But here's the thing: you have some original things like inside of you
Yes.
that if you allow yourself to create those things, whatever it is, it will attract the audience it needs to attract. You will be able to give to whoever you're supposed to give to. And so that is something that, if I had to pick, that I really, really love about you, is that you're multifaceted and you're not afraid to try your hand at anything at least once.
I'm
Um,
not, sis. It
so,
reminds me of the time when I was a little girl and I sprayed mace in front of a wall and was standing right behind it.
oh, oh,
I was like, I wanted to know what he would do to the paint. Girl, so I'm standing there and I'm like 11 years old. And I go, shh. So it
oh,
fires off the wall in my eyes.
I was
I
gonna say you had to catch a little back. You had to catch some backwash. Took yourself down, trying to be curious, and curiously blinded yourself for a few moments. Okay, girl.
I did. I've always been like that. Like, ugh, girl, okay. It's a part of me though. So that is exactly the truth,
I'm
sis.
with it. I'm with it. So listen. That's a curiosity for you. Oh, child.
Ooh.
So we are going to talk about so many things in this short little bit of time that I do have with His Poet today. So I hope y'all are tuned in. If you are watching us on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And as I have mentioned
Yes.
in so many previous episodes, please keep it cute, because if you don't, I will not be cute. But
Okay.
I like to stay cute. Okay. You
Yes.
know, in this age of where your opinion not only matters, but it's supposed to have all of these effects. It don't work over here.
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be kind. You can ask questions and do all of the things. If you are
Ooh.
viewing on the YouTube channel, if you are listening on any of the podcast and audio listening platforms, thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe to this channel. Leave us a review. The best thing you can do for a podcast is to leave a review, and we appreciate it. So let's get into it. His Poet. Do you feel like telling the people how the name His Poet came to be?
Absolutely. I was a poet called I was Queen J. This was my name for myself. Back when I first started doing poetry. I'm 46 now. I first started writing back again. Well, I wrote as a little girl and I stopped at about 12, 13, and then I picked it back up at 26. Well, I started going to the clubs and everything like in 2007. So by the time I was like 27, 28, I was kind of out there. Well, the type of poems I would write, I had been through so much in my life and I had, you know, dealt with so much. Like life had genuinely taken over. I can absolutely say my life was living me. I was not living life back then. I had 3 children, and just a whole lot. I had no idea who I was, and surely had no idea I was anyone in God. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
And then um, I began to just kind of. I read Psalms 25. That's my life scripture. Psalms 25. And I ended up just, kind of going through the motions of living out that scripture. And
Mm-hmm.
then in my poetry, I was Queen J because this before I really came to God. I was Queen J, poet from the streets, and I would do all of this really poetry about dope dealing and my abuse, and it was very real, raw, but
Mm-hmm.
inspirational pieces. Okay, and then when I did begin to get myself together with God, and answer the call, and got saved. And my poetry began to change. That was the first thing that happened. And then
Mm-hmm.
one fine night, I'm asleep in bed, or I was something. I don't even know where I was. It was somewhere between sleep and not sleep. But um, I remember hearing the voice of the Spirit of the Lord. And he came to me, he said, "Your name is his poet."
Mm.
I was like, and I said this to the Spirit of the Lord. I said, "His poet? That sounds funny. I don't like it. That sounds funny. No."
I can't have no flair. I gotta be
Right. Right. I was like, no, that I
black.
don't like it. And so that night, I can remember like it was yesterday. I wrestled with God over my name. I said, "I'm Queen J. Everybody know me as Queen J." And I wrestled with God. And we went back and forth. And he finally told me, he says, "You are his poet because you are going to speak his words."
Mm.
And that sealed the deal. When I woke up the next morning, I remembered everything. I remembered like it was yesterday. I remembered everything. And I was like, I was his poet. And I've been his
Mhm.
poet ever since. And I tell you, I was so concerned about, and it's so crazy. Even now, God's speaking to me with what I'm going through with the Facebook thing. Even back then, I was so concerned about, people knew me as Queen J. But I'll tell you, God has taken me further as his
Mhm.
poet than I ever would have imagined. He's given me unreal platforms that may not seem unreal to the world because, oh, it wasn't in front of, America's Got
Mhm.
Talent or The Voice or Simon Caldwell had nothing to say. None of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But from my own testimony, my own witness, and the places he has sent me to the people he has sent me to, blow my mind. Absolutely. And the things like this morning, a lady I never met, and people say, "Why are you his poet?" And a lady I never met, I was booked about a month ago. A lady named, and I'll say her name, may she rest in peace. Her name is Kathy Hunter Lee, and she created a group called Sisters for Sister, and this is in Beaumont, Texas, and it's a breast cancer organization that aids women of color through their journey of breast cancer.
Mhm.
Well, she passed away in 2020. God bless her soul. I never met this woman. Whenever I get an assignment, and I'll be writing and piecing this together and figuring this out, and literally how God works is this morning at
Mhm.
about 5-ish o'clock, I'm up and I'm in the tub. This is part of my process. I'm in the tub. And I'm just like, I got the poem, but I wasn't satisfied with it. But I was like, I don't know what to say. And all of a sudden, God begins to speak because I was supposed to write a poem incorporating basically her, who she was, and what she did, and what this organization was. Girl, when I tell you that God has blessed me to write some of the most amazing prophetic poems for people
Mm.
without even knowing them, when I read that poem, the lady's husband came to me. He said, "Can I please have that?" He says, "That was perfect."
Mhm.
He says, "Thank you so much." He says, "You captured that." I said, "No, sir. God captured that. I'm
That's
just
it.
a vessel." And it never fails. And so to have this gift of, I call it prophetic personalized poetry. It's just what it
Mhm.
is. I can't even slice the pie no other way. And he sends me to the right people and gives me these little personal things. Girl, I did a 20-year anniversary for a married couple about 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I'm toiling over. The thing was, she wanted a poem from him to her, a poem from her to him, and then one combined together.
Mhm.
So the poems from him to her and her to him, I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, literally the day of the event, I began to write these poems. God just begins to speak these words. And the name of her poem was She Said. The name of his poem was He Said. Baby, how about when I get to the cotton picking anniversary dinner and I look at the program on the table and the theme is He Said, She Said.
Come on.
Sis,
Come on. You can't. Come on. What you talking about? was like, I don't want you to show up unprepared and not coordinated. You're gonna be coordinated. Yes, come on. I'm with it. This my kind of carry on, honey. This my kind of carrying on. I'm talking about it. I love it. That's it.
Yes, yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, my mind was, I had to text that sister and tell her, I said, oh my God, God loves y'all so much. It was just such a beautiful, I love seeing beautiful unions and married couples,
Mhm,
especially in the Lord. That is just a wonderful thing. And just to
mhm.
have God, I cried after I wrote that poem because he gave me insight to just how beautiful their union was. I was just like, wow, blown away, sis.
Mhm. I love it. That's my kind of carrying on. See? So now
Yes,
aren't you glad that you allowed him to give you that name?
I am, because to me, I didn't have no names. I didn't have no names. And then I just heard it so clear. He said, she said. I'm like, he said, she said.
I
All
love it.
right. And
So
girl,
if
I
this
got to that, I almost fell out that chair.
when her knees buckle, why your knees buckling? You all right? Oh my goodness, y'all did not do that. Even if I tried to tell you, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Even
So
the wife, girl, she was walking around, and when I did that, when I said the name of the first one, she ran to her seat and was like, "Oh, oh,
mhm. You didn't even know
It
the
was
thing of the.
something.
Y'all keep seeing me messing with my hair because it's doing this Frederick Douglass thing over here, and I'm trying to keep
Girl,
it from. I'm
she wants to be wild. She wants to be wild.
It does because it keep going like woo. I'm like, come on down, Lord mercy. No,
Y'all see
I
me with this
love it.
fan because I'm having hot flashes. Okay,
Listen,
listen.
I'm right under the vent, so if y'all hear some sounds, it's just because we need a little circulation. She 46, I'm 45. It's trying to sneak up on me. I need ventilation and circulation. That's all. I understand. I understand. I love that though. I
Yes,
love that I love the way that you got your name. We know so many instances when it comes to, at least from biblical experiences, that when God wanted to use people a
yes,
certain way, he would rename them or he would
yes. He
name them.
would.
And so
Yes, he
that
would.
name, opened doors for you that he knew
Yes,
that if you didn't have that name, you wouldn't have the identity to walk through the door that you needed to walk through. It was just a technicality that he wanted to make sure was a fix. And I love that. I love that.
yes,
I
yes, sis.
love
Amen.
that.
Amen.
So one of the things that I want the audience that's listening to know about you, as it relates to me. So we met on that pandemic social media application
Yes, we
that
did.
came out when we were in the house by ourselves, bored, banging our heads up against the wall,
With
trying to
nobody to
find
talk
something to
to.
do. Nobody to talk
Yes,
to. And so this app came out called Clubhouse. And
yes.
baby, everybody was talking about this,
Everybody.
that, and the third, and everybody had a room, and everybody had a this, and everybody, and it was good, like
Yeah,
anything initially, and it's birth, it's a good thing.
yeah,
But then it got,
yeah.
things got real and things got interesting. If you know
Yes.
me, I'm a runner. I don't have time for that. And so I heard up and I, I said, all right, and but we met there, and
Yes.
we were in several different spaces together, and
Hmm.
we communed on our faith, and we developed a friendship, and it was great. But I also got an
Yes.
opportunity to experience his poet, the artist. And y'all talk to me all the time when you come on. You watch videos. Either I've done poetry videos, or you see the video where Jelani and I, my husband and I, our podcast or something, you'd be like, where you get them earrings from? And every video I did, I would try to put the link to your website, and then it just started getting on my nerves. And I'd just be like, look, his poet creation, go Google it, and you'll find it.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
we do, so I want to make sure that for the listening audience, I definitely want to talk a little bit about your poetry, but I want them to know that that's how we came to meet. We came to meet, we connected on
Yes.
poetry, we connected on our faith, and then I found out she made earrings, and then I would lose my mind on her website. And
Yes.
order me a haul. And I'm overdue. I ain't ordered in a while. I'm overdue. I'm starting to cycle pieces, and I need to get a new haul in.
A new haul. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you. Let me get this inventory together.
Listen, and I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna be ready, like the people that be standing at the door at Target at 7:59, open at 8 o'clock. That's me
Yeah.
on the website, just waiting to push the button. So we're gonna make
Yes.
sure that y'all get a chance to see the link, and I'm gonna show her site on this episode as well. So one thing I do want to talk about is like, what are some of the things like as an artist? Now I know that you got your name, you started doing your thing. What are some of what? How important is it for you in this journey as a poet to have community, and what does your community look like?
Oh man. I mean, at this present moment, it's interesting because you know how you know God is doing something because he has literally exhausted your spirit with certain things or certain types of
Hmm.
arenas. And so
Yes.
that's where I am. I was doing people will when you're a poet in the city and especially one that you're from, people will always try to pull on you and they want to do these shows and this and that. And that's cool. And you try it and you get excited and you go, my whole thing is let's get the poets out. Let's
Hmm.
get the poets out. But here in this city, you know what it is about a prophet is least welcome in their own home,
Hmm.
you know? And I feel like truly I have the people that I deal with are the ones who go out and seek to bless the people through poetry. The people who are not so caught up on the dollar bill. The people who are not so caught up on what can they get from it, because that type of thinking is dangerous. And that type of thinking can cause you to miss out on purpose, truly miss
Hmm.
out on
Uh-oh. I think we lost her on the stream because we're on a streaming platform, and sometimes when you get telephone calls and things like that, it will cut off things. But
I
don't worry, y'all.
know. Hold
She'll be
on.
right back.
I'm
There she
back.
is.
I wonder if I can put it. I should be able to put it on Do Not Disturb, huh,
Yeah, that's
sis?
what I did. I put my devices on do not disturb because every text, every phone call will come through. And
Okay,
see,
I
I
just
tried
did
to
it.
tell y'all that this podcast is informal. So see, there you go. Y'all be thinking I'm over here with a production. Well, y'all know I ain't got no production company. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. Y'all know that.
Yes, yes. Okay, I put it on Do Not Disturb. So, although money is definitely important, we all want to be compensated for what we do. We do, and but it's this whole competition thing, this whole striving to be better than someone else. That's very dangerous
Mm-hmm.
arenas, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it can set you on a path of being totally opposite of what God has intended you to be or do. And I think that sometimes, even as artists, we lose focus of what does God want,
Yeah, I know I
you
have.
know? Yeah, we do. I know I have, and so
Mm.
it's quiet right now. Now he's booked me. I'm getting booked for weddings and this and that, but as far as like other things like being like at open mics and shows, girl, that's flatline for me. That whole thing right there. It's like you've moved on from it. Why do you want to keep going back to that? You know, you don't need exposure. I
Yeah.
mean,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right,
and that's what they
right.
say. People can know you can get exposed. I live here. I was born and raised in this city. And I've been on TV, the newspaper, the city council. Anybody who ain't exposed to me by now ain't gonna be okay.
I love it.
So yeah, so I'm just like, I don't need that. What I need to be is in the vein of God.
Hmm.
That's and we it's so because as artists, there's so many facets, I guess that's the
Mm-hmm.
proper word that I could say, to artistry and people.
Yep.
And you see so much, and you I mean, I love art, I love jazz, I'm just an artsy
All of it.
person, and my mind can go swoop 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 in the midst of artistic people because I get so
Mm-hmm.
excited and so overjoyed, and I have a pure but then you see like everybody's not like you.
Yep.
And then you see that people really are here to kind of slit your throat because
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm
They
saying?
want
And they make the
especially they catch wind of your gift, and it
right,
gives a glimpse that it's a little something different. It ain't even about it being better or anything like this. It's a little different.
right. It's just a little different. And so then they do things. They blackball you, girls. It's just crazy. And so I'm kind of with all of the hoopla, I'm just gonna focus on the Most High
Mm-hmm.
and where He tells me to go. That's it. Um, because if you don't focus as a gospel artist, an artist of God, His poet, if you don't focus on that, you will get swept away in the fluff.
Yes.
You
Yes.
will. Been there, done that, tried it, bought a ticket, did not like it, returned it, and came on back home.
And what's so
Okay.
interesting is, I have not taken the time to really sit down and kind of talk about my journey as a
Mm-hmm.
poet,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely can relate to what you're saying,
Yeah,
right?
I know you can. You've been in good old Atlanta on that poetry scene. Oh, I
Let me
know
tell
you
you
know.
something. I'm triggered. You said a trigger word. Huh? That is a let me now
Woo!
that's a documentary right there. So if you're into documentary productions, I got a story to tell. Cause what? Jesus, huh? Okay, I'm back. Goodness. How did she trigger me? My God. Because I just think it's so important that, like, I love what you said. I love how you talked about, because that was me. Like, I was like, you're trying to find your space, your place in these
Yes.
spaces, and you don't realize that God is trying to curate something just for you, right?
Yes,
Because
he
I used to
is.
remember, and she made that reference to Atlanta. For those of y'all that don't know, that's where I got my spoken word footing. I
Mm-hmm.
always wrote, I always did poetry, but for some reason, God used Atlanta as the place to introduce me to spoken word poetry. Now, let me make sure that I frame this up properly because I don't want no problems. I did meet and establish an amazing community of people that I am still connected to today. But it was just different. It was a lot of things that I just wasn't prepared for.
Yes.
It really almost skewed my view of poetry and spoken word,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to get back to the true essence. So to the point that you were even making, I had to
Yes.
remember who I was doing it for,
Yes.
and it helped me to
Woo.
remove all of the extra stuff that came with it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, I think it's beautiful that even this transition that you really doing these personalized events. Cause
Yes.
truly, like let's really think about that. We do if you do these events for the masses, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get some people, you'll hit some hearts, but it's all about consumption when you are
Yes.
dealing with those big, giant, large, followings and groups. And then
That's
and the
right.
burnout can be real because you're trying to continue to meet a standard, and the
That's
standard is
right.
higher and the expectations, but so I feel like people, and then it also speaks to the quality of what you have to give when somebody
Yes.
seeks you out and says, "Hey, can you
Yes.
come and do this piece at my very intimate event? Hey, my niece has a birthday. Can I get you to write me a piece or do an audio piece and I'll pay?" I love that. So I'd
Yes.
like to talk to you a little bit more. Like, I know you have been on the scene for a minute. I know you have been doing your thing. I want to talk about this slam you won a few months back.
Oh, girl, look, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I'm not, I don't, God dealt with me with poetry and competition a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the slam poet. I
Me
don't want
neither.
to,
I
I'm
ain't never
not.
been to nobody's slam. I would lose. Do you hear me? They would be like, wait a minute, you I would lose. As soon as somebody start talking about points, I'm gonna be like, hold on. So, go ahead.
Girl, this girl hit me up out of nowhere. From she hit me up with an invitation. She says, submit a piece, and when we choose a piece, you'll be able to be a part of the competition. So, I had lollygagged, and procrastination is my worst enemy. And I lollygagged, and finally, the last day of the entry, I did the little video. I did a poem called "He Made Me Love Him." This is about Most High and everything we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that video, sent it on in, and my poem was chosen. Didn't realize that entering the competition, it was way in Florida. So, I had to get to Florida, and I was like, God, am I supposed to do this? Before I even submitted it, he had to urge me to do it because
Mm-hmm.
slam, that's not my thing. That's not me, not my arena. And
Don't urge
he
me to
told
do it.
me,
I don't ever want to do it. Don't urge
right,
me to do
he told me to do it. So I submitted the video, found out it was in Tampa, and I could have backed out, and I knew I was supposed to go. I knew. And he made everything easy. I'm talking about easy.
Mm-hmm.
Got there, and I'm just taking in the aura and everything, and it was one girl. It was two girls who were great poets. They were all great poets, but it was two girls in particular that would have been like my competition.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to do, it was a poem on evolving safety and womanhood, I think. So you know me, sis, I'm gonna take a different angle. So they were supposed to be all uplifting and this and that and great, and da 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 da. Well, my poems were uplifting, but they was real, and it was uplifting in another way. Because what we gonna do is somebody gonna get set free today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the very first poem he had me do was birthday,
Ooh.
and that's the poem about the child I aborted,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the poem where I'm literally talking to this child, uh, expressing how I apologize because I don't know when the birthday is. I don't know the name. And I make mention, although I know God gave you one, I'll find it out one day. And it's just all these things that by the time I finish that poem, I'm talking about the whole place wasn't a dry eye.
Mm.
And a lady came and hugged me and she says, you don't know what you did when you spoke that poem.
Mm-hmm.
The next poem I did was called Protected. And it was about it was a recap of the very first poem I wrote at 26, which started me back to writing. It's a poem I wrote called Sad, Sad Tale. But I rewrote it for this slam and it's called Protected. And it basically speaks about molestation and how so many people, I am one of the statistics in the black family, or families period, but for sure, black family who wasn't protected and was neglected and was taken for granted basically, and the
Mm-hmm.
way it traveled down, and then of course the last poem I did, I believe I did my testimony, um and that was about evolving and how I started out as this and this is what I ended up at. And
Mm.
child, when I tell you that out them points, I won by point 4 points, point
Wow.
4. I did not. I wasn't anticipating. I didn't go there to win. I went there to
Right.
do my job, you
Yeah.
know. And God bless me. Girl, I was just like, what? First slam ever. The
And you
whole
won.
point, and I won. And I have to. I'm going back next year because when you win, they invite you back for a judge. So I'm going to be a judge next year.
Ooh.
March 2024, going to be back in Tampa. And that
Okay.
was such a great experience, and God, I believe that God threw that on in there just to let me know I could. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? At the same token, that was a little extra blessing for me. You don't you know that with me, all
Mhm.
things, and I had to memorize like two poems. So that is not my thing. Ain't my
Yeah.
gift. I ain't
That
shame. Ain't
ain't
no
that
shame. Okay, okay, sure, girl.
Listen,
It's
you
not my
did it.
gift at all.
You did
It's
it.
not. Yeah, I did it since two pieces memorized, and was like, whoa. And what really, the one other poem that was memorized, I ended up, girl, they mark you on time, and it's just a lot. And I was like, there was one girl, this one chick from Philly, bless her heart, girl. When I tell you that girl was mad, I'm talking about fish grease mad.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I can't do nothing but be me. That's all I could do is be Treva. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it was quite a few of them that was ticked off, but hey, because they had a couple of people from Florida that you can tell, and it was one instance where this one girl, she was from Florida and she had it. She had the clout of the local girl. They knew her. Everybody knew her. Child, she did one last poem that totally broke the rules. Totally broke the rules. And
Mhm.
then every last one of her poems sounded like one of my things is as poets, I believe we have certain key phrases that we might use, just like in certain artists and songs, like Lil Jon
Mhm.
go, yeah, that's
Mhm.
Lil Jon. So it's certain things that we'll say that might be a catchphrase, like I know that's his poet. But her thing was too many of the same lines in different poems. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yes.
Too
Yes.
many, and it just kept sounding like the same poem. And they were, baby, she was getting high scores too. You hear me? Because she was Florida. She was
Yep.
Florida. She
Yep.
was Florida. That she was gonna get that if she didn't do that last poem. And the last poem was totally off kilter because she took the stand and she did something that she says God told her to do, and I could not argue with her. And I
Right.
say, if I say one thing about it, I say I believe that each and every one of us, when we could say a thing like God want me to, then there's something in you that know the voice of God
Mhm.
somewhere. If you can fix your mouth to say I believe God wants me to, then He is speaking to you somewhere,
Yep.
and
Yep.
your spirit is hearkening to that.
Yep.
And so she was pressed, and she did it, she knew it was going to count her out. She knew, but she did it, and it ended up being what it was, and I won, and it was something, and it was just like, oh wow, I did that. That was great.
Mhm.
I
Like
had no
I
idea.
believe you when you say, because I'm gonna tell you, I don't. I know some really
Mm-mm.
great slam poets. It's just not something I've never desired. To be
Never.
perfectly honest, if I might just even be completely frank,
Come on.
it was never my intention to be a quote unquote spoken word artist. Period. You hear me? I was totally okay with writing and attending
Yes,
an event. I was. And what God did, because God gonna do what he wanna do.
he sure is.
Okay. So what he did was, knowing I'm getting ready to embark on probably one of the another great loss in my life, because it was the year that my father was dealing with his illness, and he was
Mm,
ultimately going to succumb to it that year. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was going to
yeah.
die that year, but that was the year that God started pushing me out there. The first
Mm,
place I did in Atlanta called Urban Grind Cafe, their open mic night. And I was nervous. I was like this the whole time. I was so nervous.
rocking.
And by the end of 2012, I was releasing a book and a CD by the same name.
Yes.
In 2013, I'm doing shows, I'm doing open, and it was like, well, what is this? Because
What is this?
and so the slam thing, I know artists who are amazing slam poets, and I'd be like, see, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it because for me, it's like the labor you put into your writing and
Yeah.
some of the stuff you go through just to get them words on paper to have somebody trip. This is just me saying this, so I don't. Please don't come for me, because I just don't have the sanity or the capacity to
Yeah.
respond with dignity if you come for me. I don't mean no harm when I say this, but to have it almost seem like it's trivialized by
Yes.
points or
Yes.
so that's why I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And maybe I might be cost sensitive. That's totally I'm okay with
No,
it.
I understand,
But
and I feel that because I'm not. I mean, if the only reason I'm doing it is to compete, then I guess. But no, it's deeper than that. See
mm-hmm.
about this poetry thing. God showed me a long time ago with people, and what gets me and makes me concerned for many of our people in this dear poetry community is they so lackadaisical with what comes out of their mouth. And they have no idea that the word period, our words even, is the one of the most powerful weapons we obtain. So
Yes.
when you have this gift of spoken word and God has bestowed this upon you, there is a commission that goes with that. You are at that point commissioned to speak life, to give truth, even when the truth hurt. You better say something. You better say something of worth, of value
Yes.
that's gonna do something to uplift someone. Girl, that's why when certain people speak in certain poems, literally, like my ear will literally close up because
Yes.
I can't stand like, oh, it's trash. I just can't.
Oh, I
I
can't do it. I can't do it. I can't
just
do it.
can't. You know,
Yep.
we are commissioned, and we're gonna be held liable for every word that we speak.
And I don't think we understand that. I really don't think we.
No.
I don't think we really understand that. We just look at it like it's what I want to say. It's what's
Hmm.
in me to say. But baby,
Hmm.
it's what you saying. Like this, you gonna have to. This gonna you gonna have to stand on this.
You're gonna have to stand
You have
on
to
it.
stand on it. And so I absolutely love that the variety that comes from the things that you do. Right. So I'm gonna hit you
Amen.
with something. We're
All
gonna go
right,
through all
sis.
we're gonna go through all the things that we said we were gonna go through on this episode. But if you feel so led, I would love for you to share a poem with the people of your choosing. You can read
Okay.
it off of something, you can quote it off the top of your head, however you so feel led. I would
Okay.
love it. And so when we get closer to
Yes,
ending
sis.
this episode, I'm gonna give you a few little mementos. I'm gonna give you some minutes to do some
All
things.
right. All
And
right, my love.
but one of the things I definitely want to give people the opportunity to experience from you is your shop, right? So I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm
Yes.
gonna I'm gonna put the on the for the people that are watching on YouTube, you'll see the website streaming across the bottom of the screen. If you are listening on the podcast platforms, I will make sure to put this link to her shop in the description so you can capture it and you can go and visit it. But we're gonna share it right now on screen so that people can see some of the things that you have on your site. And just to reiterate her point, she is getting her inventory together. So
Yes. I
don't
am,
y'all be
y'all.
like, oh my God, And but she getting her inventory together. So just make sure you bookmark the link so that you can be up
Yes.
to date with what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen real quick. Hold on real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna go here to his poet creations. Share. All right. So if y'all can see it, the website is hispoetcreations.online. Okay. And I'm telling
Yes.
y'all, the link for me is jewelry. Okay. Now I'm not saying you can go nowhere else and look at something else, but it was the jewelry that was for me. Okay. So I just want y'all to see if you can see it on this YouTube channel. I mean, look, come on, y'all. Come on, stop playing. Stop playing, act like you don't know what's going on.
Yes.
Because look at these pieces. Look at these. I mean,
Yes, I have so much more stuff, girl. That makes I'm kind of embarrassed, y'all. I have so much stuff. It is ridiculous.
but even this inventory, like I'm gonna tell y'all
But
something.
I have
I'm
this
gonna tell y'all
inventory too, still
something.
though.
These earrings right here. Okay, so the black women are dope. I have these, right? I have them, but I have them like this. I have them with the black and the gold writing. I got those earrings and I was like, "Oh, I got to share these with my sisters. I can't like just have these and be all great by myself." So I bought
Yes.
pairs for my sister and my daughters because I was like, "Yeah, these are it." These and I'm telling y'all, well, these earrings literally last. I haven't lost one. I haven't lost
Oh,
the hoop. Like the hooks are tight. I
thank you,
mean,
sis.
if I could pull all of my earrings out and bring them and sit here and show y'all how they are all still intact, no color bleeding, nothing. And I promise you, I'm not exaggerating when I say I wear them every day.
Yes.
Every
Come
day.
on. Come
She
on.
has
Yes.
jewelry. She has keychains. I actually purchased one of the keychains.
Yeah.
Um,
New
her
inventory.
her books. What's happening? Why is it doing that? This must be my computer. Got to be because it was coming up for me earlier. Well, my computer being dumb. I have. I'm not gonna say the name of my internet provider because I don't want them to turn off my.
Look, we both got them.
Yeah, they over here playing in our face. So if we were sharing with you earlier, the reason why we stopped is because our internet service provider, who,
Oh
you know
my
who they
gosh.
are,
Yeah, they don't be acting right, y'all.
playing in
For
our face.
real.
But if you get an opportunity, I really want y'all to check out his poet creations dot online and really do great like these are my favorite. I was on a plane, so I have on a pair of earrings in the shape of Africa and it has the face of a woman on it. I was on a plane and I lost my earring on the plane and I hadn't spoken to his poet in a while, and I was like, you know what, you dusty, because you ain't talked to her, and now you're gonna call her and ask her about some earring. But I was like, I really was feeling some kind of way, like if I don't get this earring,
Oh.
I'm just not. It's not gonna be okay. I'm just not gonna be okay. And, and I reached out to her and I was like, I was on the plane, I was asleep. So now when I fly, I take my earrings off when I'm on the plane, put them in my purse, and then I get off the plane and use
Yes.
them again. Because I ain't going through that again. Because if I could have went back and got on that plane and looked for my earring, I was gonna do it. And so she sent me, I ordered, and so I didn't just want to make it about one earring, so I ordered a whole bunch of other ones, and then she sent me this one. Listen, I love these. I get
Yes,
so many
yes.
compliments on these earrings. So
Oh my
I'm not
sis.
selling y'all wolf tickets just to get y'all to buy something. I'm telling you, the product is worth the penny. Okay, it really, really is.
Yes.
So, I also want to ask you too. How did you come to get into that? How did you come to get into making the earrings and the pieces and all of that? That creative expression.
So I'm looking through poems too, so see which one.
Mhm.
So this is the thing, sis. When I was young, like I was that chick. I was the because I've always been heavy, right? Always been. I am just that is me, baby. I am
You always been
sister
thick.
thick bones. Okay, that's me. Always been thickums. Okay. So, but I always like I pride myself. I was one of the women who's young women who's always been thick. But baby, I'm gonna dress. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot, but I'm gonna dress where it's gonna look like I did. Mhm.
Mhm.
So my thing was, and probably from like 16 on up to my 20s, I was a earring fanatic. When I worked in the mall, I had all types of kooky earrings, and I was a shoe fanatic and dresses. And so one thing about earrings is I loved earrings, but I'm and call me crazy. I'm just not a person who I want to appeal to the people who shop like me. You
Mhm.
know, I'm not
Mhm.
fixed to pay a whole bunch of money for no
Me
earrings. I'm,
neither.
I'm not. I'm not. I want to appeal to the people who like cool stuff, like a nice, modest price, and it's like, oh, look at that guy, so they can get a surplus and not just be like, oh, you get $60 for one pair of earrings. Like, come on, I see some stuff, and I know people, it's my time and this that, and so instead of all that, I appeal to the people who shop like me. I want it to have a good amount, a good little, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Variety
Mm-hmm.
of colors of and different, eclectic, like those that you have. You know, you're not a lot of my styles. I've been doing this for probably since my kids were little, on and off. So I kind of like have. I started out with beading, and I went to the planks, and then I'll do a little painting. I just do all sorts of different things I put together. So a lot of the earrings that I put together are original. Like you won't find another person will have that earring, because
Yep.
that was one of my pet peeves too. Don't be having my earrings on, you know. When I just don't be wearing my earrings. So I specialize with the ones I make. I'll make like literally a few pair, and then once it's up, it's up, it's gone. You know, and so I'm like, hey, that's an original. You got a one of a kind pair. This really, some pairs I cannot get the materials on. I cannot. So that's literally the only pair out there like it. And to
Mm-hmm.
be able to do something and cater to people who want something like that, and I just love making things. I love to paint. I love jewelry. I love my thing. Next thing I'm going to tackle, when I was a little girl, I used to always have a dream of like making a table or a chair, and
Ooh.
I want to tackle carpentry. That's two things. That's, yeah,
Ooh.
I want to learn that and fishing. That's two
Oh
things I
wow.
want to take up.
Now I
Yes.
used to do some fishing. It was years
Really?
ago. I
I got a
probably wouldn't.
rod.
You're gonna enjoy it when you learn how to do it. You're gonna enjoy it. I used to do it when I was little. My dad would take
Yes.
us out, and we would go to like the local lake, and we would
Hmm.
catch the fish that we would catch back then was like the herring and the spot. They didn't have
Okay.
much meat on them, but it would be fun to catch them and stuff like that. It's amazing the stuff that I would do as a child that as an adult today I would cringe and curl up in the corner. 'Cause, child, I wish I would go grab somebody's worm or grab somebody's bait and be sitting there trying to get it on the hook. Child, no.
Oh my
When I
gosh.
was little, baby, that would be me roll my pants up, walking in the creek with no shoes on. Not
No
today.
shoes on. Not worried about no leeches or nothing, girl.
Not today.
Nothing.
Doggone mouse fly past me. I'm running down the street. That don't make no sense. But if you if you learn how to do that,
Oh
it
my
is very
goodness.
peaceful. It's very
Yes.
peaceful. It's very serene, and it's rewarding when you do catch something. You be like, oh, look at
Yes.
I done caught me a
That's the
fish.
whole thing reason why I think it's so peaceful, sis. That's the whole reason why I'm like, I want to fish, and it was in my blood because my grandpa fished a lot,
Mhm.
and so I just have this thing, and I always people laugh at me and go, I say, oh, I love fishing. They go, really? Where you gonna say, well, I never been.
I'm
I
speaking
just
it
know I
into
don't love it. I'm
existence.
sure is. I'm telling you.
You can do it when you retire from whatever you're doing. You can
I
retire, get you one
know.
of them big giant hats that you
And
can put
I already
on your
got the hats,
shoulder
girl. I got the hats,
and be
sis.
sitting out there and they be like, oh, there go his poet sitting on the water with your different color rods. They'll be like, what rod you using today? I'm using my blinging rod.
My blinging rod. Yes, sis. Yes.
I think that's awesome. I think that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
So
Thank you.
before we close out, I do want to give people an opportunity to follow you on the social media platform. She's currently having some issues with the Book of Faces right now,
Facebook.
but she is fully active and fully running on Instagram
Yes.
and TikTok. So if you are
Yes.
watching on YouTube, be sure to catch it in at the bottom of the screen. We're going to also put it in the description and the same on the podcast platforms. Um,
Yes.
I absolutely love your content on TikTok. When you come
Thank
up
you,
in my
my
For You
love.
page, I try not to engage too much because they'll be like, she know her, don't she? Because she be, I'm gonna do better because I love your content there. So if you guys
Thank
want to
you, my
get a
love.
chance to,
I'm silly, sis. I'm gonna tell you that is a secret. People think because I do a lot of serious. I am goofy. I'm
I
telling
am
you.
too. I am too. I always get the you missed your calling as a comedian. No, no. Cause I be the comedian on stage arguing with folk.
And then trying to save them.
Okay,
Listen.
okay. Listen, Jesus loves you. Okay, you have an opportunity tonight at the end of this set to give your life and experience His love just as you are. You-
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, love. Oh my goodness.
so
Yes.
if you have found your peace, I'm gonna give
I
y'all a
got it.
little bit of a treat. For those of y'all that are viewing on YouTube, y'all get a treat in person, but tune in your ears if you're listening on the audio platforms because this
Yes.
is a one of a kind time. And so his poet, I'm gonna go on mute so none of my little background noise would disturb you. And I'm gonna let you have the floor. Then after she's done, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow her. If you want to learn more about her, if you are in or near her area and you want to book her, book her. If you are not in or
Hmm.
near her area but you want to book her, you can book her and give her.
You
She
can book
got a
me.
travel budget. She got a travel budget.
Yes.
She will give it to
And
you,
do.
and you can give it to her, and she will come to you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And do. And do, y'all. I travel. So y'all remember I specialize in personalized poetry. We conference and then God will speak to me and I'll be ready to go wherever he says to go. So
You will
thank you
get
so much, sister, for having me. I'm gonna do a poem
absolutely.
called Right and Righteous. Okay. Right and righteous are not one and the same. It is written, I desire truth to be my claim to fame. I have been right, attempting to correct, not demean, and I have been righteous and felt completely unseen. Obviously, truth will always be the best policy, but have you ever even told one lie? Come on, tell me, honestly. I seek not to mask your face in your imperfections, but I seek to interject a moment of unpretentious reflection. When I look at me, trust, I see a simple woman who has been wonderfully made, got a whole lot of lights and faults, so I throw no shade. Still, I have grown accustomed to integrity. I realized I couldn't afford to skimp out on accountability. I've seen a lot of pain and I felt a lot of rain, but I pray that God and I are in the same vein. I pray that people would focus on relationship rather than religion, for it is He who ordained every gift we obtain, our spectral vision. And I don't mean just 2020, you see. This issue is much deeper than mere tangibility. I know the world can be a crazy place, but let us stay the course and regulate the pace. Love has proven to be in action. Love shouldn't cause an infraction. Love can be translated by beautiful words, letters, vowels, and consonants taking flight like birds, transcribed in the wind. Take a moment and just listen. My greatest desire is for you to be all that you were intended. Authentically you, the glory of God suspended. I pray we stay mindful of what we release into Earth's atmosphere. I hope it's lovely and unmitigated to foster healing within this stratosphere where equalization has priority and all are treated fair, compassion, understanding, and respect overflowing everywhere. If you encounter someone who don't think like you, cool. Agreeing to disagree is a thing, boo. Now, who am I talking to? No, I'm not asking you to walk around all delusional, acting like difficulty don't exist. Just treat folks like you want to be treated. That's my honest request. Simply put, I really wish everybody treated everybody better. And thank you for listening. And that's the end of this poetic letter. Thank you.
Come on! I love it. Woo! I
Thank
haven't
you,
heard her
my
poetry in a
love.
while, so I'm a little excited. I'm a little- I love it. So,
Thank you,
see,
my
you heard
love.
it here first. If you want more of that, connect with her, find out where she's going to be,
Yes.
find out what she has out there, what books and what audio. She has some stuff out there, y'all.
Yes.
If
Y'all
you
look up
don't
his
look,
poet
yep.
on
So,
Apple, on you can find my book on Amazon, both of them. So just look, if you Google his poet, just reach out, send me a message.
mhm.
Not Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok.
Instagram and TikTok. Until Facebook act like it got the good sense that it's been given. We are Instagramming and TikTok. I want to thank
Yes.
you so much for being here, his
Thank you,
poet.
my
Thank you so
love.
much for the time. I know you
Yes.
can invest your time anywhere, and the fact that you took time out to invest your time here today, it does not go unnoticed. It does not go unappreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned. We have more episodes coming. Season 1 will conclude in December of 2023. Thank y'all for rocking with me on When Artist Speaks. This was a vision that was birthed out of, as I mentioned, just engaging with some
Yes.
young artists and embracing the future. And it is now evolving and expanding even more. So we have more artists, we have poets, singers, all types of artists, because the goal is to get everybody in the mindset of understanding that creativity is not limited by the scopes of art that we have defined. So
That's right. That's
thank y'all
right.
for tuning in, and we will see y'all on the next episode. Take care,
Thank
everybody.
y'all. Bye bye, y'all.